Okay, welcome everybody. This is a meeting of the working group Green Reviews and follows the conduct of the CNCF, which can be summarized with be nice with each other. And today we have some items in the agenda already to discuss. So we're looking forward to go to our first milestone, which is KubeCon. And for this reason, we have made some important decision we would like to communicate regarding our next steps. So we decided to pause for a while the pipeline updates in order to focus more on the energy metrics that we're going to show in the Grafana dashboard for the utilization of Falcon. So this is our first point to discuss. So everything related to the pipeline, self-hosted runner, and all the discussion that we had around issue 50 for the moment will be paused because we want to focus on how to come up with a best practice for a good CSI score for our reviews, green reviews project. So this is our first big update. So thanks for all the folks that already started contributing with for around the pipeline. But given the short time that is now between the KubeCon, so our first milestone, and what we have in place right now, we decided to take this decision and finalize in this direction. I haven't had time. I don't know if there are any new members that would like to introduce themselves also. I forgot this part. But most of us is known faces.
I'll introduce myself.
Yeah, sure.
Ed Vilmetti from Equinix. I'm developer partner manager for our open source program and manage the relationship with the CNCF and the Community Infrastructure Lab, which is how I was brought into this. There is an entire sustainability team at Equinix. I am not part of it, so I'm here mostly to relay published stuff that we've published about our sustainability things, and where there are gaps between what we've published and what you all need, try to bring those back to the right people for their review.
Yeah, thanks for joining. Exciting to have you here, and hopefully, we can bring also the discussion around how to better assess good embodied carbon for the Equinix server, and everything that we need to have a first evaluation of our CSI score. So your presence today is very, very important. Thanks for joining and for taking the time. And are there any other folks who would like to introduce themselves?
I could. Yeah.
Hi, James.
Hi. I think I've been to one of these before, but it would have been a year or so ago. It's just I'm a jobbing software engineer, but I've been doing lots of, trying to encourage green software practices in wherever I'm at. And I'm here to see what there is that needs doing, I suppose, but I don't have I'm not affiliate. Well, I'm not here for work. I'm sort of joining out of interest.
Nice. Do you need some context? Do you know already what I've been doing so far? What the Green Reviews is about? We can say a few words of introduction if you like, or if you have already some questions, that would be even better.
Oh, nothing in particular. I'm probably a bit behind, but I know, I've heard what it's about, I guess.
All right. Yeah, basically we have the objective of giving reviews from the sustainability point of view of the CNCF projects, and we have our first milestone, which is getting some energy metrics related to the Falco project, which is the first project that decided, or better asked us to go under the review. So yeah, like in the screen that Nick is sharing, it would be the first row of the roadmap table, and no, actually the second row. So we are already at the second row. So we built an infrastructure that has everything that we need for getting these measurements, energy metrics coming from Kepler, and more SRE metrics from Prometheus. And yeah, like now Falco is running, so with some stress load, so that we can actually measure something. And
good.
yeah, like, and now the step that we are in is we are trying to understand how to build something which is close to the SCI score.
Sure.
So this is where we are at the moment. We had some discussion about automatization pipeline, but yeah, we decided to post this in favor of like something which is more aligned to our goal. So giving good green energy metrics.
Oh, that's good. I had a PR against Kepler, but it was a year or two ago now. And there was some discussion, but I wasn't really wanting to push it forward. It was more for discussion about exporting a sort of CO2 score as a Prometheus metric. But anyway, yep, I'll look through all this, and this is great to know that it's happening.
Yeah, great. Yeah, anything else from you guys? Otherwise, we can go deep into the next point, which is initial discussion on the energy metrics, about the different factor of the SCI. So the idea was to start having a documentation page on GitHub where we can discuss how we reference every single factor of the SCI score, even if we have some not so defined idea. So what are our thoughts behind it, so that then people can do a PR or contribute more. We already started something around this, so like this discussion a bit, but yeah, like we need to give it a bit more structure.
I have a question about the SCI score. Oh, go ahead.
No, go for it.
No.
That's all right.
Okay. I have a question about the SCI score. I'm looking at our overall reporting, which is the last one I found is fiscal year 2022. And the relevant table of numbers, which I think could be valuable for this group, says energy and emissions are assured to ISO 14064-3:2019 standards for the quantification and reporting of greenhouse gas emissions. And so I guess the question is, there's an ISO standard, ISO 14064-3. Is it possible to derive an SCI score from data reported to that standard? Or does it ask things that are independent of that standard? Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I'm personally not an expert of this ISO standard, so I would need to look it up. Need to also document myself a bit in that direction. I don't know if someone is more knowledgeable can answer this one.
I can inquire internally about the standard and come back with more info. I think the 1400s ISOs are, yeah, they are the ones about greenhouse gas emissions, but I'm not sure how we can link it to this. I don't know at all.
Yeah, I know that we do a bunch of reporting to this standard. I don't know if we do it at the SCI level of per component, but certainly it looks like there's some numbers that are, I don't know if they're aggregates over the entire company or aggregates by continent, maybe, that you could derive some numbers from, right? That they would be plausible.
I guess,
Oh, sorry.
how public are those numbers? Is there a portal where we can access them? And then depending on the granularity, for example, if it's by region, then yes, I think carbon emissions by region, or even better by metro, that would be useful, especially for, yeah, there is one of the units in the SCI is related to the carbon intensity of the region.
Yeah.
So
So I put on the Slack channel the overall sustainability report, and this is from fiscal year 2022. So I would expect that 2023 would emerge relatively soon, but I don't know, I don't have a date for it. I know that there were some other numbers I found that were like emissions by continent. And I think I fed those back. There's a GitHub issue that I posted those to, where you can see pretty clearly that the carbon intensity in Europe is a little bit better than the US and much better than Asia. And all I'm going to refer to is public stuff. I don't have access to any secrets, so.
well, so we have an issue open for this. It's this one. And
9, okay.
copy. This is the one we will track this. So if you have, for example, the metros that we're choosing are in Europe. So even if you have a number for that, let us know, share in that issue, and then we can see.
Okay, I'll post something into
Awesome.
Facebook. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, because just
Back
to
to
add,
you.
because we would, sorry, Dennis, it's just going to add here. We were discussing another issue where we're kind of choosing the choice of region or the choice of metro, where at the moment the cluster is in Paris. We're considering kind of moving it to Amsterdam. But I think, yeah, the SCI score does include a carbon intensity value. I wasn't sure if we were going to take that as a kind of a per country level. For example, the IEA, publish carbon intensity there, but it would be better to have it kind of per provider. So if we can kind of extract that from one of the public sustainability reports that you have at Equinix, that would be, I think, better. But I think it would be how we can plug kind of carbon intensity into the SCI calculation.
Yeah, I saw the carbon intensity measured by equipment cost or equipment type. I might suggest for this, the numbers that I saw were like greenhouse gases per $1 million or something like that. And I can share the project costs and equipment costs. Like, you need a proxy for something because it's going to be very hard to measure directly. If all I can report is overall aggregates, then the project should really have a lot more fine-grained accounting detail as to how much things cost, just so that you can at least back things out from that.
Yes, I think we've got the issues of for the embodied carbon, and I know what you're mentioning also the Bovista, some of the equipment that you're using is in the Bovista, the database already. So
Yeah.
I think that could be a starting point for us. But I agree, there's also the kind of the overall emissions of the parts that wouldn't be kind of factored by that. the kind of general data center infrastructure there. But I think maybe we could start with Bovista and see how much we can get from the API there, and then expand that out.
Sounds good. And maybe if Bovista is missing some data, then we can identify, and this is going to take longer than between now and KubeCon, we can identify the vendors that might have data sheets that could be filled in for some of this stuff.
Yes, that'd be fantastic. And I think also they have some kind of automated scanner as well. So my thought was to try running the scanner on one of the instance types we're using as kind of a starting point. But if we can add more data from the data sheets into the database, that'd be fantastic. But also, yeah, just definitely a longer term thing rather than for KubeCon, to get things together right.
And I had asked whether the embodied carbon, right? So where do you stop counting? There's the equipment itself, but there's at the very least the top of rack switch, and probably if you're going to be fair, you want to take a slice of the data center as a whole over its lifespan. So it's probably a multiple of the machine itself.
Yes, I think it could. Sorry, Nikki, go ahead.
That the Green Software Foundation also has some guidance around this. But you mentioned also networking, and that is a big unknown that we're hoping to use this project as a POC for this. Also Marlo, and Marlo Weston, she would join us on this effort when we arrive at the networking component.
Perfect.
Yeah. Ross, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that was what I was going to say, that I think we definitely want to tackle network, but we probably won't get to it in the first iteration. So yeah, it'd be great to work with Marlo on this one when we get to it.
Maybe we can go back to the energy topic. Antonio.
So maybe we can write somewhere or like, at least not everybody's very familiar with the SCI. So we can remember the folks that SCI stands for, it's equal to energy consumption times emission factor plus embodied emissions, and everything is multiplied by a unit factor. I don't remember the exact name was the functional unit, exactly, the functional unit. So we discussed, so the energy will be taken by Kepler, I guess. The carbon intensity is what we discussed right now. Then what's missing, I guess it's the embedded carbon, which is always tough to measure for a virtual machine. And then we had some ideas about having the functional unit as a factor of time. So for example, 15 minutes of file core running in our cluster to start. And basically this would be the overview about the energy metrics. I don't know if you agree, if you have different ideas, if you think something should be done differently, any inputs.
I think we're making progress on all four. slow progress, but we're getting there. I agree that we should focus on energy by KubeCon, since we have Kepler. And so, Antonio, was your suggestion to add this in the docs, or how do we make this
like basically to
information
have a
accessible?
chapter. To
Yeah.
have a chapter. So we can write it here, and then I'll add it to the docs, so that if someone has some critiques or some suggestion, we can definitely improve in different rounds. I guess question to Edward: do you also know if we can get somehow information about the embodied carbon for a virtual machine, or like if we can derive that from some other information?
I will share whatever I have. I did see a couple of embodied carbon reports from Dell in the Boa Vista data, or Boa Vista data. I am not super familiar as to exactly which systems you all are using in your cluster, but we can, if you point me to the right issue, we can, I can give you a readout on where we document all of our machine types, and you know, which vendors, if they're listed. We don't always list the vendor for stuff, but if the vendor is listed, maybe reach out directly to them for information.
All right. Yeah, then I think we'll do that. So Ross is our Iconics expert, so he knows certainly about the type of the virtual machine. And then maybe we can follow up to this to try to get the first estimation of the embodied carbon based on the virtual machine type. What do you think, Ross?
Yes, I was just looking at that, but actually we're using M3.small is the instance type that we're using so far for the machines. We kind of started small. We might need to increase it a bit later, but that's the one we're using each time. But Ed, also maybe we can also work on that kind of asynchronously, because we've got the issue there. But yeah, that's all the machines running now are all at M3.smalls.
Okay, well, Russ, I can point you at the big long list of machines, and when there's space and time to do it, we can figure out like where we stand for each of them. I might suggest that the Ampere folks who provide our C3 large ARM64 machines are very keen on their low power consumption, and might, if there's metrics that we want to expose that they don't expose yet, there might be a receptive audience for that as well.
Yes, that's actually like a really good point with ARM, because I think the machines have low consumption, but the challenge that we have is because Kepler is using RAPL, if we can't get access to the RAPL measurements, we can't sort of measure with Kepler. But I think Kepler have an issue on kind of ARM support, and if we could use that, that'd be fantastic. I think that's currently our blocker with ARM, is just having support for in Kepler.
Okay, well, if the project wants to pursue that, the DevRel folks from Ampere will be in Paris, and I'm happy to bring multiple of us into a conversation and make introductions and whatnot.
Maybe they would be interested in contributing to Kepler directly to provide ARM support. I know that Boa Vista's scaffold tool has, I think they added ARM support. I'm not sure, but there is some, although I don't know how that would work because it's using RAPL, which is a
Sorry, can I
Intel.
intervene?
Yeah,
Hello,
go for it.
hello. My name is Castro. Sorry, I would like to intervene. I've read Kepler documentation, and I have designed an estimator, heuristic based for ARM-based devices. especially in Kubernetes environment. So that I yet can't basically disclose because that's been submitted to EU CNC conference just a couple of weeks ago. But it can be potentially an extension to Kepler in the future to have ARM-based support. That is, however, an estimator because, as you mentioned, there's no RAPL technology on ARM devices.
What is RAPL? I'm not familiar with the.
It's a hardware level energy consumption monitoring technology as a sensor that is provided in Intel architectures, but not in ARM, unfortunately.
And how do you spell it?
It's RAPL.
Okay.
Yes, it is running average power limiter. Maybe I always forget what the L is, but it's it's an Intel technology. There's some support with AMD as well, but yeah, that's kind of the issue that we have is not having ARM support. But it will be fantastic to try that out. Once that was kind of in Kepler, we could maybe provision some ARM machines and try that out. And also having a discussion at KubeCon would be great. Because then we could kind of take benefit of the low power consumption of the ARM machines. It's just having support in Kepler is what's just stopping us at the moment.
Yeah, RAPL stays for, I just Googled, stays for running average power limit. So yeah, the L was missing. Or yeah, good. Then I think like Ross, then you will follow up for the embodied carbon measures, right? And then do we have a volunteer maybe for the carbon intensity with the ISO standard? That someone would like to follow up on details for the carbon intensity?
I could take that. I'm happy to take that. I've done this a bit with different carbon emission factors in the past. So there's different ways to do this. Either we use a static value, like in a hard-coded way. So the value would be a Grafana dashboard value. For example, we could use, I think the Kepler dashboard uses the International Energy Agency's just an average from the IEA. But if we can have more granular information, that would be nice.
Hi. Yeah, there is also the Electricity Maps API, which provides carbon intensity information depending on the region. So it actually is quite helpful in that sense.
There's, electricity maps, there's what time API, the IEA. But so for electricity maps, we could either use a hard-coded value. I don't think that using like a real-time carbon emission would work also because, well, actually, I'm not sure. At first, I think it would be better to start with a hard-coded value, but we can change this to a real-time afterwards. Also, Ross, you were saying something about keeping that variable, making that a constant rather than having a variable emissions factor.
Yes, my thinking there was just to be able to make the SCI scores comparable, because it's great to let electricity maps the value is dynamic, but then we could get kind of a different value depending on kind of what time of day we're taking the measurements, which might be trickier for, for the projects to interpret. That's why I was thinking, I think the IEA one or the one from the Equinix report, if we can get it from there, would be good, and then we could have it as a constant in the dashboard. Because that's just my concern with the dynamic value is how comparable it kind of makes the measurements.
Also, nothing stopping us from having multiple dashboards. We can have one dashboard with the hard-coded value that is used for comparing releases, and then another one which showcases, how to plug in electricity maps to have dynamic carbon emissions in the SCI score.
Yeah, I think it's good to give visibility that that's an option. And then there's things like the carbon Wickeda scaler as well that can use that. And I think providing both values or kind of multiple dashboards, I think could be good.
So maybe it would be nice to document some of the action items that we've taken. So maybe also, Raimundo, if you want to pair on the carbon emissions, I'd be happy to pair.
Definitely, yeah, definitely. I have a question for the end because I missed the first part, but yeah. Yeah, we'd love to.
I think if we each take one factor, it's the SCI, that would be a good way to divide the work.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to split it up. And yeah, I'm happy to take embodied.
So
For the
Antonio,
energy, sorry.
Antonio, I'm putting you for the energy one.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask. Sorry.
Go.
For the energy one, it will be the measurements that are already available, right? The ones that Kepler is exposing that will be transmitted to be able to calculate this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And do you know, Nikki, already if there are some metrics which are better than others for, I don't know, minutes long job in Kepler already? Are you familiar with the metrics that Kepler exposes?
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't remember by heart right now, but I remember in a talk in the past, I had to find which one, and I can. I'll find it, and I'll
Yeah,
post
but
an issue.
those are the ones that were also being discussed on issue 50. Do you recall that we were already at a step that the metrics exposed were taken directly from Prometheus, and some of them are better if you have a bare metal server, but in the case of a virtual machine, I think that the estimation in total for a container is the one that is probably more useful. So it could be used indeed as a reference.
All right, so we have an estimation for container which should go. Yeah, about issue 50, I think we can keep the discussion for which energy metrics. But yeah, Raimundo, you were asking what we discussed in the first part. So in the first part, we just announced that for the moment we will pause the pipeline discussion. I don't know if you were already there by the time. And
no, I missed that part. I think I arrived like after that, and I saw the point, and I was wondering. But yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so like from there we will take like the energy metrics from Kepler related to the energy factor, but basically everything which is related to the Go script and to the GitHub action discussion that we will pause for a while because we have limited time and we have to focus a bit on what to show.
Sure. Thanks for the clarification. Yeah.
Yes. And from my side, I guess I'm good because we discussed each and every factor of the SCI. We'll document this after the meeting. We touched yeah, we announced this pause for the pipeline, and we also quickly touched the issue 50. So actually, is there anything else we need to discuss? Am I forgetting something? How can we use the time wisely? So for once we are a bit ahead.
I have a suggestion also. So for the 4 emissions, sorry, I mean the 4 factors, what we've agreed to do is one document, like add a page to document the, what is the factor, what we're planning to do or what we've already done, right? And then do we also want to create a dashboard and like contribute a panel for each of the 4 things? Was that the idea?
Yeah, definitely. This is something I forgot to put in the items for discussion, but yeah, we should have a Grafana dashboard. Yeah, maybe 1 panel for each value and then 1 for the cumulative. So for the CI over time.
Yeah, so 5 panels then.
Yeah, at least. I don't know if we need more.
Yeah, I think separate panels is good. And I think also we've got an issue already for the dashboard that maybe we can pick up again. Or maybe we need a new one, but yeah, I thought we already had an issue for that for the dashboard. Let me just check.
We do, but I think it's a bit blocked.
Yeah, if it's out of date, then we can always create a fresh one.
And maybe we can go over the issues a little bit and make our board, update our board.
That's a good idea, always. Do a bit of if we have time.
I added a blocked column and maybe we can put the kernel event rate for Falco there.
Yeah, what is blocking us at the moment? So it's because we're waiting for the Prometheus exporter, right? This is the last. Okay, then yeah, maybe we can comment on the bottom. Yeah, why it's blocked.
So could you just read? Was that on me? That why? Sorry, lost focus. I said that.
Sorry.
So I wasn't sure. Was there a question for me on something that was blocked? Or maybe I think I misheard. Sorry.
No, I think it wasn't to you, Ross. It was that we're blocked while we wait for the Falco Prometheus exporter. So yeah.
Got it. I'm so sorry.
Nice. This one, I guess we're triaging now. This is, yeah, Ross, I saw your PR. I would love to review it. I'm not super familiar with adding an Alaska IP on Equinix, so I wasn't sure.
Yes, yeah, it's just done via the TOFA code. It's a bit involved because you have to add the Elastic IP to the machine. So I use NetPlan for that because it's an Ubuntu machine. But once we can kind of merge that, then we can request a domain. I think Leo was going to help us with requesting a domain. I did have a question for, we want to have the docs website. I think that Christina is going to work on, but will we need a domain for that as well? We might need sort of 2 domains.
That's a good point. I need to change our board because it doesn't add issues automatically because we have this label. Okay. Well,
Yes, yeah, I wasn't sure if we're not going to use kind of the GitHub domains, we're going to use our own, then probably we need to request two domains.
okay. Yeah. Good job.
Yeah, other than that, probably we'll need kind of cert manager to set up to have a cert for it once you've got the domain. But I think really merging that the TOEFL PR and requesting the domain is kind of the next step on the infrastructure. But you know we've kind of got some time there, but I think we're in a pretty good place with the info.
Nice. Amazing. That's awesome. We'll be able to share it. It's a bit annoying that the board is not updating. Sorry. Trying to do it, but okay. It's so complicated. Yay. Okay, done. There we go. So we have the docs in progress. This is in progress, the docs. And I guess now this is our focus, right? As well as so this is the overarching issue, but then we have all the really specific ones. Does it help, like for everyone here, would it help to just tackle these ones? And I mean, I could even assign us.
Yeah, I think assigning would be good for that for the ones part of the SEO.
Okay.
Antonio, I can also help with the energy if you want, because I read it through the documentation several times this last week. So yeah, I would also have to help if needed.
Yeah, the plan is to publish pull request soon, so maybe I'll tag you there, and then if you can contribute there, would be awesome. Thanks.
Sure.
This one is. Okay. And I can't remember. Sorry.
Yeah, no issue. I think I'm not a contributor, so I'm not in the list. Something.
If you comment on it, it should be okay.
No worries. For me, it's fine.
And yeah, that's all I think from the board. Anyone wants to add anything? I think we're okay to end early if we want.
Yeah, we can get some time back.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, something else to discuss. I'm also okay.
Great. All right. Thank you, everyone, for today's
you.
meeting, and see you soon. Yeah. Take care.
See you soon.
Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.